These capital murder convictions ensure that the defendants will remain in prison for the rest of their lives. And while that does help ensure our community is a safer place, it does not compensate the victims for the pain and the suffering that they have gone through. It does, however, send a message. It sends a message to those that would harm and cause danger to those in our community that our juries will not tolerate criminal behavior in our community. The police will investigate. The district attorney's office will prosecute. And this district attorney will make sure that you will face justice in our courtrooms. I want to thank the juries for their service and their verdicts. And we ask that everyone please continue to come and serve in juries. It is a very necessary part, and I know that jury service is not always easy, but it is critically important to community service and to seeing that justice is done. I'd like to recognize the very hard-working public servants that made this justice possible, that achieved justice for these criminal victims and crime victims. On the Marvin Rex Lake case, Assistant District Attorneys Lisa Clausen, Eric Willard, Paralegal Donna Welch, Legal Secretary Stephanie Vasquez, Grisel Aguirre, Victim Advocate Lorena Garcia, and Investigator Angel Lopez. Please come forward. You'll have to stand some over on this side too.
Right behind.
These fantastic public servants worked hard, worked weekends, worked late in the night to see to it that Mr. Lake was held accountable for his actions. I cannot say how proud I am of their work and how fantastic they did to bring justice for this small baby. Thank you. 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 I'd like to recognize those who brought justice to Alexis Dominguez, Assistant District Attorneys Preston Munson and Jacob Reynolds. I know that Jacob is currently traveling for the office. He's attempting to recruit new attorneys for the office. Paralegal Naomi Garcia, Legal Secretary Isabella Tonche, Victim Advocate Juana Vasquez, and Investigator Raul Bencomo. The work of the Board of Prosecution Unit extends well beyond just standard narcotics cases and even some of the immigration cases they prosecute. They take on even murder cases and hard cases, as evidenced by this capital murder conviction. I'm so proud of the work of Preston, Jacob, the support staff that supported them, working tirelessly to make sure that justice happened in this case. Thank you so much. Fantastic work. Thank you. Thank you. Finally, those who brought justice to Eduardo Garza in the 409th District of Court, Assistant District Attorney Samantha Nelson, Eliana Elzalde, Paralegals Donna Welch, Jose Piedra, Victim Advocates Joseph Rodriguez, Lorena Garcia, Investigator Angel Lopez, is doing a lot of double duty, Joseph Williams, Legal Secretary Stephanie Vasquez, and Grisela Getty. You see some of the same people up here, which tells you how hard they have been working. This was a difficult case. They faced a lot of difficulties coming from the defense that fought very, very hard on behalf of their client. These attorneys overcame great difficulties in their trial to get this conviction. The support staff did a fantastic job helping them, working with the victims, working with the witnesses. It's just absolutely phenomenal, the work that it took to get us to this conviction. And my congratulations to the team that brought justice in this case. Was phenomenal. You should all be very, very proud of the work that you all did. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Again. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you. I want to recognize these attorneys and these support staff members because it's important to understand how hard the public servants in this district attorney's office work for justice. Everyone here understands that they're servants of the public, and that's what the definition of a public servant is. But I want everyone to understand how hard they work to achieve the goals of justice for victims, and how hard they fight for justice for victims of crime. No one else stands up for a crime victim like the district attorney's office does. Nobody else stands up to fight for justice like the district attorney's office does. These public servants are truly the sword of justice for our community. They deserve everyone's applause and everyone's congratulations and everyone's thanks. They certainly have mine. I'll take any questions you might have.
Do you have any responses from their family, from the victims' families?
In these three cases, the victims' families were all very grateful for the prosecution. As I mentioned, while the convictions do not give the families closure, they give the families finality. It's an opportunity now for these families to begin the healing process. All of the families gave their victim impact statements, and it was an opportunity for these families to begin to move on with their lives now. All of the families were satisfied that justice had been served, but it doesn't bring back their loved ones. It doesn't bring back the Christmases, the families, the healing, the Thanksgiving lunches and dinners. It doesn't bring that back and never will. But it does give them the chance to begin finding some finality and to move on.
As you mentioned, it's very impressive that in just less than 2 weeks you had 3 major sentences. Were these cases put on like a speed run, or were they given extra attention so that they could be really resolved immediately?
We actually had 4 cases going all at the same time. The 4th one resulted in a hung jury. I didn't speak about that case because we intend to retry that case, and I don't want to add too much pretrial publicity to that 4th case. But with the fact that we were in trial on 4 cases, 3 capital murders and a murder case, all at the same time, all within a 2-week period, is an extremely, it's a fantastic statement about the resources that this office is devoting to making sure that we are moving forward on homicide cases and murder cases. Our office does not control the calendars. The court controls their own calendars. I can only tell you that we are making every effort that we can to be ready to go to trial whenever the cases are set for whenever homicide cases are set for trial. We have a large number of homicide cases and sexual assault of a child cases set on the court's dockets. We understand that because of COVID and because of other factors, there are a lot of homicide cases and intoxicated manslaughter and just manslaughter cases pending. We are resolving those cases as soon and as quickly as we can. Some of those are resolved through pleas. Many of those are having to be resolved through trials. We only ask that the courts give us an opportunity to go to trial so that we can resolve the cases. Oftentimes, when they're faced with the trial is when we're able to resolve the case through a plea agreement or with a trial.
For the Dominguez case, what's the current status of the co-defendants in that case?
That case has several pleas coming. Some of the co-defendants are actually going to go ahead and plead guilty now that the Dominguez case has been resolved. But we'll have to go through each of those individually to tell you. But some of those are actually have relented and are going to plead guilty.
Can you release the names of those defendants?
I'll have to get the list for you. I don't have them right here in front of me.
And then her other case that she had of aggravated kidnapping, where's that status at?
We're evaluating that to decide if we want to go forward, if we're going to go ahead and dismiss and allow it to plead on and let her go on to prison.
And then we know it was a gang-related case. Do you know the name of the gang or if they committed other crimes?
I don't have that. I'm sure Preston can give that to us.
On the Luis Renteria plea, can you tell us how's the plea deal made?
On which case?
Luis Renteria.
That case was not one of the ones we discussed here today. On the Renteria case, that was a very difficult case that has just pled guilty today. In resolving cases, we have to look at we have a set group of very experienced attorneys that are reviewing cases. The attorney who reviewed the case on Renteria in particular is an attorney with nearly 40 years, 30 years of experience, has a tremendous number of homicide and even capital murder case experience. And after reviewing that case and the facts of that case, he made the determination, and after discussing with him, I agree that we were going to have a very difficult time making the murder conviction, and through plea negotiations he was able to arrive at the plea agreement that he reached, which was the 7 years deferred probation on aggravated assault. You cannot get a conviction straight probation on aggravated assault. It has to be deferred because of the nature of aggravated assault. So if the defendant doesn't do well on probation, he's facing the full range of punishment, a minimum of 2 and a maximum of 20.
Was there, I know the family told us this is because this is showing this lack of evidence. In your case, could you say this is true?
I would say that the defendant had a self-defense claim, and it was going to be difficult for us to overcome that self-defense claim had we gone to trial. Preston.
Regarding the Alexis Dominguez case, you asked what gang it was tied to. She was a member of the Brown Dog Serranos, and she had ties to La Línea.
And do you have the names of the co-defendants?
The co-defendants.
Just a little bit more.
Sorry. The co-defendants are Adrian Corral, Luis Ochoa, and Eddie Chavarria. And those are all set in the 384th.
Are they the same defendants in her aggravated kidnapping case, or is it different?
There's some defendants that are similar to the same on the other kidnapping. Some of them aren't involved in that crime.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you very much for being here today. Appreciate your time, and we appreciate the pursuit of justice. There are hardworking public servants that are taking care of back there for us. Thank you very much.